niviaqsiaqalualuk kangeqsingaluq supayaat ikayuqtiqaqanipilugit allauvluni taamna teqiganniaq sivuniqsipkangaga niviaqsiaqalualuk qanutun peqpaganaqtilaangit tamatkua ikayuqtauruat
Sila is the weather. It also means the atmosphere. Here's the nuna, or the land. And it's anything from the land into the moon, the sun, the stars. That's Sila.
It's a very spiritual, and we have a relationship with Sila. Sila has a soul in the same way we do as people, in the same way animals do.
I think spirit helpers in and of themselves are really about how we're connected with things. And so it may be that there is a spirit helper that shows themselves as a bird to show you the way home, or it may be a spirit helper that actually decides to show themselves with the face and body of a man instead of their animal form. And so I think one of the things that's hard to understand is that it's not one way of seeing things, it's one way of knowing you're connected to everything.
We've always had that spirituality of everything around us.
It's the interaction you have with the air you breathe, the ocean that you gather resources from, the rivers from which you gather fish, the tundra from which you pick berries, the animals that give themselves. It's all of that.
niviaqsiaqalualugulu teqiganniaqalu ikayuutipiaqtuk siqaqaniortimigani araa kangeqsinaitsoqunni qaneq pisilaangak aglaan tavra atautsikun aingat
In the winter, when we were traveling, we didn't build sod houses, we built snow houses. In Canada, they call them igloo, but here in Alaska, we call them apuya. We'd do a day of travel, and then we'd make a apuya. The next day, my father would set traps, spend the day there, rest the dogs, give them something to eat, and then the following day, we continued to the next place. We'd go to my dad's sister, who had a house at Dubarg. They had a small sod house over there. We didn't have to do anything. We just visit with them, and my dad and my sister were glad to see each other, and they'd talk away while us kids played outside or go to sleep. By the time we get back to our home, my father would leave us with our aunt or with my grandmother, and then he'd start on his trips and go check his trap line. We were not into 8 to 5 kind of time, We're in a total different kind. We're in ecological time.
Iveaksiaqaruallu tikitqa aanaarpini. Agalaan maluunaqsingamalaq. Inñoquluk tikinngamaluq iveaksiaqaruallu piingaan. Ivaqalaqsimaluq sumittaimma. Nikatjakkumañaanniqsuq paqitqaangaarnagu ivaqtani. Nunaaqqiq ikiwaqtuaqaniqsuq iñungi toquttaqtauganiqsit. Iveaksiaqaruallu upperingitqa tautuktani. Tautukunaqtuaq sunapayaaq siquminganiqsuq. Iveaksiaqaruallu iñuliaqatingi pisaullaganiqsut. Qanaqimña anuqulaqpallqiñam tainnaqumiñaitqa. Tamanga ikumawaqtuamin qaqraqpam iñua niptaqtuq. Sumalagullaqami Nibeak siya karulong pikinyingani. Agalan kakaraw ko sa kanyat sa gabi nga ito. Imenyaw rin sa gabi kami sa mga nunamin. Kahit gawin studying, ukalagtok inyugungaro ako upik. Kano ko mailisimanak pa nga, isumulagtok ni Beak siya karualo ko. Kano kita pura, kao nagayngagikpen, kailaw di ka piyup ko. Ikayo ko niya kalawagikpen kimon dahil nanakek. Sa bakit ilanga?
Drum is something that's common to all cultures in Alaska. All cultures have a drum that may have some stylistic differences or differences in the materials that it's made, but it's still a recognition of life and vitality. And the drum mirrors the heartbeat. And when you continue drumming soon, it will be in line with your heartbeat, because that's what it's supposed to be, the heartbeat of the community, and it symbolizes vitality. And it's the most tremendous feeling to be in a room and to have one long row of all the drummers and to have that feeling of unity, everyone beating in harmony, the drum beat in unison. It's the most beautiful feeling. And to know that you're connected, you're on the land that you are connected to. And even if you grew up outside of the community, that which is in you comes from this area. And it's the greatest feeling.
Man, I went at it and look what happens. Oh.
They're just like other people. They just happen to be very small and extremely strong.
These are stories that are common throughout Alaska. And it's normally the people are in a size from your elbow to the tips of your fingers, and they possess superhuman strength. So they may be tiny, but they can carry a whole caribou.
And if you go up north and you talk to A number of the people in the community, they'll talk about having seen the little people.
There's a place at home that we know, but we don't profess it to anybody.
But it's not like the boogeyman.
They can be mischievous, they can be ornery, or they can be helpers.
And every now and then, we might have the opportunity to see them, especially if they want us to see them.
The fact that it's across Alaska really tells you something about our history and how we interacted with nature around us.
Kaya rarak tuat bebeak syaro lo kakike. Asi ane piling suna ituk to siguro kumaga. Ibeak syaro lo sabat ko may akalawit imenyaurat. Bakit ka upiyong kayaw nga? Ibeaksiagarua lokutingarok kilaw delegahone. Ukpik kubea chapalugarok. Asita pura pibi tagaliw di pialagaga ibeaksiagarua lok. Dahil nahone ay chudi kirakangarok. Ukpik ukalaktok. Uvaw na kao nagingagiga. Iligin pikit kublugo.
The bola is what we call kilamitang. And the kilamitang is made out of braided sinew tied on to some heavy bone which you could twirl. In my case, we're catching ducks.
When we're out whaling, sometimes the ducks start flying. And they're good for duck hunting. You know, if you're a whaling crew, you can't make too much noise. So you can't use a shotgun for getting some duck soup handy, you know. So bola was a really handy weapon to use for catching ducks. You know, the ducks fly in, you throw it up and tangles up the bird, and down they go. Tabrata na igilehote. Ibeaksiagarwalum atoka uppium achuta. Sila taane nunaakkingata innyuqulukkassuqaak. Innyuquluum tautukamium nutqaqqugaa. Agalaan niviaqsiaqarualuk saperinaqsimat. Kinnalifsaapiaq tuqtuutukamiu qilamittaun. Tabra ivaqtani tautukkai. Kinnalifsaapiaq tuqtuutukamiu qilamittaun. Tabra ivaqtani tautukkai. Annapqaallikkaluaqtuk agalaan igilauningaq siqqaqanaqsisiinnyaqtuq. Malaquguni uvluguni uissauvlutik.
The scaredest I've ever been, I was 12 years old. We floated out on a piece of ice while we were duck hunting. It was a bluebird day, just clear blue skies. And there was 3 of us, myself, my brother, and my dad. Next thing you know, we see this dark shadow on the ice. We look and it goes behind us. So we all jumped up, startled, and my dad, he started running. We got back to the ridge there. The ice had fractured, cracked, and broke off, and we were floating away. We were drifting. It was close enough to where my dad would have made it. He stopped and he thought about throwing us across, and if one of us was on the other side, we would be split up. So he stopped, and he just so happened to have a cell phone on him. 911 didn't pick up. That's the worst feeling in the world right there. 911 did not pick up. So he left a message because they record their calls. Once he had relayed that information, his cell phone died. That was the scariest moment I've ever had in my life. We were floating away and I thought we were left for dead. He kept calm during this situation. He's bringing out everything positive in this case. You know, I'm crying, my brother's freaking out. It went from clear blue to dense fog. Within a couple hours, we heard the chopper flying around, so they must have gotten our message. We thought we were saved, and then the chopper sound went away. So we lit some of the sled on fire. It's plastic. We thought black smoke in the fog would create some kind of marker. Chopper pilot had mentioned when we got rescued, you could see a glow in the fog. And he slowed down there, and sure enough, as soon as he slowed down, we got within visual. That was definitely the scariest moment of my life, was floating away and not knowing what the outcome was going to be.
Dabra tuvakarua mutikitso. Agalan tuawit pagabitso. Siku nalunak tok panok igilakaniak tilanga. Sasakome annakkuvet piñatitaravitso kaakame nanok nikatjalaitso.
We're very much aware of the climate change. And it's been for many years, even before climatologists were noticing this change, Inuit were already saying, Sila alangoktok. Our climate is changing.
If the heat is going the way it is right now, for us it's going to be pretty bad. Different birds are coming, and they're coming earlier, and sometimes rain is more than what we want. because when there's more rain, we know it's going to melt the permafrost.
In my time as a young whaler, when I was 9 years old, we're hunting from ice that was about 25 feet thick. And there was giant icebergs already floating, coming by. That was the first signs of a changing climate. Ice that never broke before was now moving. Now, here it is 50 years later, we're hunting whale from ice that's 18 inches thick. There's no more thick ice.
It's creating a malfunction in our whaling season is what it is. Actually, more than that, all seasons in general.
I think we are more scientists than more people will realize. We have more knowledge of those things than people will ever know.